My, how the turns have tabled.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Did anybody ever knew about this situation
The
before?
abortion?
Yeah.
No. It is.
That's
this
crazy.
is like brand new news. They would ask her about her virginity. They would ask her these things.
That's intense.
And she would be a teenager.
This is not my culture. Like, look.
And then she got slammed for having a boob.
That's crazy.
So
by having a boob.
For having a boob.
Fuck you for your biology.
Yeah, it literally was.
It's so lovely to drink with you.
It's so lovely to drink drinks with you.
Okay. The atmosphere of modern-day society has created an illusion of moral, philosophical, and social lines in between what's right and what's wrong. We examine those lines in the latest controversies and topics. My name is Aleks.
I'm Erin.
Let's begin. So, Erin, what's the topic for today?
Well, everyone's talking about it, so I figured we would just delve right into it. Britney Spears, her memoir, and all of the things that have come out since then, which I genuinely find absolutely fascinating. Being a millennial from my particular age range, because, millennials can span quite a vast number. From my particular age range, I think it is particularly fascinating because I got to grow up knowing and experiencing the tabloids, the media outpouring, the shunning, the shaming, the you name it of Britney Spears. And here we are, like 15 something years later, and my, how the turns have tabled. My goodness.
The turns have tabled.
Yeah, the turns have tabled.
That's
and
really true.
yeah, and it is. I genuinely find it extremely hopeful and wonderful about how far we have come as a society, and I think this is a beautiful barometer of how the great lengths to which we have come when it comes to issues of health, mental health, conservatorships, celebrity, all of these types of ideas, and how they've changed so drastically from the time that I was a very influential young mind, ready to be molded by the world and getting told all of these things about Britney Spears, and here we are.
Like that example you given to me where you show a genuine picture of her and how media said that she was looking fat.
Yes.
Like, that's crazy how much we moved on from that to now.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh.
I genuinely, I find this so incredibly fascinating. So he is from not quite a full generation before me, but pretty much. I mean, at least when it comes to this tech age where everything happens so quickly. And,
that's true. No.
So I grew up with buying Britney Spears' first CD and having, Hit Me Baby One More Time as a kid, and all her entire lifespan just... I experienced it as a young adult, and you would have been too young to kind of see how it was taken. So I was just kind of explaining behind the scenes to him a few of the highlights, and I think one of the biggest indicators of how far we've come as a society is the fact that I showed him photos of Britney Spears at the 2007 VMA Awards, which is her historical. I remember it. I watched it. It was huge at the time. That was the year, and I graduated high school. And I remember how she just got absolutely shat on for her performance. So at the time, it was seen as an insult because artists took themselves so seriously and they wanted to perform to the best of their abilities. And for someone to come out and quote unquote half-ass it was an insult to the performing arts, and so many other celebrities, rappers, singers came out and said it was insulting. Her performance was insulting to them. But she was also shamed in every fucking tabloid. Every tabloid. I remember every magazine about how fat she was. She was so fat in every tabloid, talking about how pudgy she had gotten, how much weight she had gained, when in reality, you look at that photo now in 2023 and
that looks more like a healthy human being.
Yeah, you could not fathom referring to that woman in that photo as fat. Like, you just couldn't process that today. And that is a huge leap forward for us as a society.
Bloody good.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah. Thank God. But genuinely, I cannot tell you. I mean, you name the magazine, she was on the cover, and she was genuinely fat by every standard.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, in my defense, in Russia it probably wouldn't be as covered at that time, because of course we had our own problems, and 2008 specifically was quite a hard hit, and I assume the topics the tables have turned there for sure. But when that being said, it's quite interesting. And she was at that time, like, only 26. Like, she was born in 81, so she would be on.
Was she born in 81?
81, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mississippi, by the way.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Macomb.
Yeah, so it's 45 minutes outside Hattiesburg.
Oh, Jesus.
So I knew, but she ended up, she was born in Macomb, but she grew up in school just across the border in Louisiana.
Oh, okay. But she's Southern girl, like proper. She's a
proper Southern girl.
Yeah.
She is from, mainly she tells everyone she's from Louisiana, even though she was like,
that's
partial.
Rude.
Yeah.
That's rude.
Nobody wants to be from Mississippi. No one wants to be from Mississippi. No, but yeah. So her baby sister Jamie Lynn Spears went to school in Macomb with.
Oh wow! How
kind of people I knew. Macomb, smaller than Hattiesburg.
Oh wow! So even like if the Hattiesburg is a town.
Fuck you, it's a city. Anyway, no, so, but I forget the name of the Louisiana, just literally not far outside of Macomb itself, but they ended up going over there. So, but back and forth.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's irrelevant.
Well, no,
irrelevant.
That's
but I just want you as a male species, because you are a male species. You're of the male species.
Yeah.
I show you that photo of her at the VMAs.
No.
What do you think?
She's like hot. Like she's like no. She's genuinely just. Of course, she's not like the standard of that time of being very skinny. And even nowadays, probably in the in the kind of very high modeling stage, you will not be as.
But
full
she's
of the
not
body.
a model.
No. And also, but she's an artist. Like she can do whatever she wants. Like you will see. Look. And I'm probably gonna get hate for this, but you will get people like Beyonce. Mm-hmm. And Beyonce's BMI would probably be worse than Britney's at that time. Like she's full of,
she's curvy.
Like she's curvy. Yeah, she's skinny. Like she's skinny person.
That this was like genuinely.
This is crazy. No, that
she was like. Fat, pudgy, rolls, like everything was used to describe this. And now when you look back at it, and she's discussing in her memoir, it was less than a year from that she had given birth to her second child. So this is less than a year after giving birth to a second child. And then the media fucking destroys her, calling her fat. Can you believe
that's crazy.
So because during the time that I was growing up and like if you looked at Friends, if you looked at rest in peace Matthew Perry, that is really sad. But if you look at the women on Friends, Phoebe, Monica, Rachel, all very, very thin. Curvy was not the it thing at the time. It was skinny. You had to have collarbone showing. You had to be very tiny, no butt. It was like big butts were bad.
Yeah. So you basically look at what is the name of that vampire movie and book?
Twilight?
Yeah, Twilight. So she was like the epitome of look at that time.
For sure.
So,
but that came out way too late. So like.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know.
I think that movie came out in 2011. Like it was much later.
Okay. Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
But...
Oh wait. Ha.
Was it 08?
2018.
Oh.
Wow. The last movie
head...
came out in 12. Yeah. Yeah.
Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah. So
that's crazy. So she's
that
like,
would have
yeah,
that would have been on
literally.
it. But if you look at like 1990s heroin chic, that was the ideal body. So heroin chic was literally you wanted your rib cage to show, you wanted your collarbones to show, you wanted your hip bones to like protrude. That was the thing, and
That's
you want
crazy how tiny those people are.
Yeah.
Like I just look at one picture and I'm like, oh
Did
my
you
God.
just Google heroin
Yeah,
chic?
like-
Yeah.
like,
No,
what
that's
the-
that
that's
was
just
the
not healthy.
and so this being the ideal body type at the time
Yeah.
within all of media, no wonder they look at Britney Spears' body and call her fat and fat shame her, because this was what you were supposed to be.
Okay.
It's not okay.
And
Heroin
any
chic
point-
was
like,
extremely
you'll
unhealthy.
You'll probably stop.
If
your
you look
period
at,
then.
like-
you probably will not be.
Oh,
able to
yeah.
menstruate.
Well,
You're just too skinny.
I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
Oh, this is going way off topic.
Yeah.
But so just speaking of these like body ideals of that
Yeah.
time, I don't know if you know about, and like, oh, sorry, no, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I should have like prefaced this with what do you call it? Trigger. This is
Trigger,
this is potentially triggering. Content. So it was the emo scene where everyone had like the emo haircut and everything.
Yeah.
And To Write Love on Our Arms and all of that kind of stuff was all over the place. It was like trendy to either be anorexic or bulimic. Like and they referred to these as friends. They would be like my friend Anna. Which would be anorexia. So like that heroin chic took such a mental like pounding on young women. And so when you are, say you're, my age, you're 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, you're going to the store and you see these tabloid images of Britney Spears like that. And the world is like, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. Fuck, you look
That's
at that
crazy,
and you go, Jesus fucking Christ.
No
wonder like so many girls during that time period had such
a problem.
huge body dysmorphia issues.
It's also kind of unlucky, I assume, because the timing came up to be exactly of the beginning of the social media rise and just like the internet slowly integrating into the society. The TV is really portraying it's like it's coming up very much. Yeah.
So you were surrounded by that and you were told
that's crazy.
This is what is fat.
Yeah.
And so thank God karma has come back for Britney Spears because she was trashed for that performance, but she's come out in her memoir talking about so the conservatorship started the year.
The year.
The same year that the VMA Awards happened. So she did not have enough time for rehearsal for the VMAs. She didn't sleep the night before, so she was exhausted. And she had to face her ex-partner, Justin, who was at the exact same VMA Awards. No wonder she had a full-fledged panic attack, like just before going out.
No,
now,
that's stressful. Very stressful.
During that time, mental health and those kind of issues were not taken seriously whatsoever at all. So,
I mean, you just watch an emo movement in general. Like, this is just, hey, let's all collectively get depression. Like, this is what it is, basically. And nowadays it wouldn't really fly, wouldn't it? But it's true. No, exactly.
Yeah, so, like, she's having a full-fledged panic attack. In 2023, I would like to think, I don't know if this is true, but I would like to think that a celebrity, regardless, would not have to perform. Like, would not be forced to go out and perform immediately after having a panic attack. I would like to think that we've reached that change in society.
Probably not, but it's would be a little bit easier probably from the social media perspective. Would definitely be easier.
Yeah,
for sure. But also looking at it, like, you just had a baby. Like, come on.
Less than a year ago. So the prior and leading up to the VMAs, she was saying that she was being trashed in the tabloids before the performance about how she didn't have her six-pack abs, which she was known for, despite the fact that it was less than a year since she had the kid. So she was being trashed, and she's given, like, her uniform and, like, you got to go perform and do this. She not enough rehearsal time. Didn't get enough sleep, all of these things. You got to face your ex-boyfriend, which we will get into. And you have a full-fledged panic attack, but then your team says, I don't give a shit. You still got to go out on stage in front of millions of people and perform. So no wonder. And then you have all these celebrities afterwards going, I'm offended by her trash performance. She half-assed it. She didn't put all of her... Can you imagine? Like, you do this whole, like, mental thing, like, getting completely screwed and having to go out, and then afterwards, the rest of the world hates you for that performance, and you're being trashed. I would have, like, I don't think I would mentally not have been able to cope.
But she probably also weren't as well. Like, that probably also...
Well, I mean, it wasn't long... You know, before after when
she's got the conservatorship.
She had the conservatorship. She had the what people labeled at the time very rudely was like the when she shaved her head and, like, hit the car with an umbrella when the paparazzi were following her. So she went to, like, a gas station. She shaved her head. She was having a full-fledged mental breakdown. Mental health at that time was, like, A, not taken seriously, but also B, you were made fun of for having any kind of issues. Not only was it not taken seriously, but you were, like, bullied about even having an issue.
A problem,
and that would never fly today. I just think... I genuinely, I look at that as a barometer of how far society has come from that time to now. Which is amazing.
That's true. And that's frankly, it's only 15 years. So we are fucking speeding through.
Well, yeah, I think in the tech age, everything happens very quickly.
Quite much faster. But it's very good as well that we get all of those within a span of, like, you know, half of a lifetime. That's great. That's amazing.
I hope nobody's lifetime is 30 years.
Yeah, no, but that's... I mean, you know what I mean? Like, half of the generation. And, like,
I will go with a less than a quarter of a lifetime. We want you all to live
like,
very long, healthful life.
Generation is like 25 years on average. That's a generation, right? You take it. 25 years, okay for you?
I don't know. I think that the problem, is... In the past, that would make sense. I don't think it can apply in today's time just because everything happens so quickly. So, you know, you were existing in the world on social media before TikTok happened. Now look at how TikTok's influenced society.
Right. Yeah.
And then what's going to come after TikTok. And so these kids that are, you know, born 5-6 years ago, they now have technology you never had.
That's true.
That's going to influence them. Yeah. Things are going to just constantly progress and be faster. So I would say you and I, despite our age difference, have more in common.
More in common than me in exactly the same age. Yeah, the difference.
I think that would be drastically different for you.
That's hilarious because today, I'll open up the secret. My partner came back home and we watched a little bit of a TikTok, just cuddled together. And there was one of the TikTok popped up. It was like pictures of the baby in 2004, and it's like reasonably good pictures, you know, but it's like pictures taken on the phone of the pictures kind of thing. And this girl pops up and she's pregnant now and she's like, me in 2004, my baby in 2024. And I'm like, people who were born in 2004
have
having babies.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
just my world just crashed right there. And I'm like, a day ago, they were 10. What's going on? It's just such a shock. But it's true that we, and now kind of looking at even this story and reflecting on that, well, that was quite of a long time ago. And now we're thinking about all the societal changes that we had within them.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's a while
That's
ago.
what I mean. I think that things happen much quicker than they used to.
Yeah.
So I think generations have to get shorter and shorter in terms of their period. In order, because there's just so much drastically different. Like, can you think of someone who was going through 10 years old in 2010 versus someone who's going like through their 10-year-old phase in 2020? How
that's
fucking
crazy.
drastically
Especially
different the world is going to be.
Crazy. That's intense.
Like, yeah.
That's intense.
And how that's going to mark you and impact you. It's going to be very different.
2030 is going to
anyway,
well,
moving on back to Britney, who is our topic today. I want to talk to you. I want to tell you the story of Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, and Disney, and all of the bullshit that has come of this.
Okay.
So,
because I know nothing about that really. Like that's.
So
okay.
there was this show on Disney called Mickey Mouse Club.
Okay.
And what Mickey Mouse Club was like, it was a bit old when I ended up coming into a kid to watch things. So it was a little bit dated.
Yeah, it was
like
dying out.
early 90s, early 90s when they were like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Okay? It had Christina Aguilera, it had Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling. Yeah. So all of these.
Same age. Ryan Gosling is 25 for me.
No.
I did
so
not.
they were all
No,
like kids. Jessica Simpson, I think, as well. Like, so a lot of people who ended up becoming very famous celebrities of their own right were very famous as kids on this thing called Mickey Mouse Club. So Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears knew each other there. They ended up started dating when they were very young. So they were like teenagers. And their official relationship happened between 1999 and 2002. So if they were both born in 81, they would have been 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
Like during that little period of time.
Okay. So early 20s.
Yeah. Late teens, early 20s. So they were kids. Which, looking back, is very crazy for me to like see because they were so grown up.
Yeah, to you at the time,
when I was a kid, because I would have been like, you know, whatever, 8, 9, 10, whatever, and I would have been like, God, they're so adult, they're so grown up, and they were really just like 18, 19,
This is
20.
kind of the thing, do you don't
crazy.
get younger? Like, you look at now, like, people in their 40s, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so much further in their life, and then when we get 40, which is not that long time in, you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's bloody 30 years old, so like babies. I think that's crazy, but not true. Okay, so
I
they
saw
were
them as so adults,
like,
but apparently they were like very late teen, early 20s. Like, so they were children when they dated. So Britney Spears' thing when she first became famous, and I remember this, was she was, and it was the thing to do with Disney. She was a Christian good girl who was not going to have sex before she was married. And she had, like, publicly was interviewed about this constantly and talked, like, media outlets that, you know how society's changed? What interviewers used to ask people back then versus what they would never be able to get away with. They would ask her about her virginity. They would ask her these things.
That's intense.
And she would be a teenager. So she was literally publicly talking about, you know, I'm a good girl, I'm waiting for marriage. So that was her whole identity. And Disney kind of forces that on their, like, on their stars. They did it with the Jonas Brothers. The Jonas Brothers, when they were first famous, they all had purity rings, saying like a purity ring was a promise to God that you would never have sex before you got married. So the Jonas Brothers, Britney Spears was one of them. All of the Disney crew back in the day. Yeah. But they were literally interviewed about it. Like, people would be like...
Crazy. I can't even comprehend.
They would be like, are you really a virgin? And you would be like 17 years old. And you would be like, yes.
None of your business, bitch.
No, you had to be like, yes, I'm a good Christian girl. Of course crazy. I am. I'm going to wait until... That you couldn't be like, that's none of your business, because then the headlines the next day would be,
she isn't, blah,
she's
blah,
not
blah.
a virgin, is leaked, first insider edition, whatever, like, it would come out.
That's crazy.
I will say, what I think is hugely responsible for this mental shift is the fact that celebrities and the rise of social media have control over their own stories. So prior to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, when a celebrity could literally just go online and be like, that's not true, this is bullshit, I was here yesterday, I wasn't cheating on my husband here, whatever. Before, you had no control over what news came out. So if it was in a magazine or a newspaper, whether it was true or not, that's what people saw, that's what people believed. Yeah. You had no outlet to correct.
Or the outlet would be slow, basically.
Very
slow.
Like
doing another paper,
right?
And like it's going
and
to
it
be
wouldn't catch up. It wouldn't catch up. So you had no control over your own narrative. Media did.
That's crazy.
And so media ran with this headline about her being this virgin girl, and this was constantly being asked of her, and they controlled the story. So she is in this relationship with Justin Timberlake. Fuck me.
Justin Bieber wasn't born.
Yeah, no, fuck me.
No, he would probably be born.
No, stop it. Off topic. Off topic. That's not what I meant. Okay. So she's in this relationship, and I just want to tell you from my perspective as a kid growing up watching this. She's dating him, and then she cheats on Justin Timberlake. That's the next headline in the news. She has sex out of marriage with a backup dancer.
Yeah. Who is not even her boyfriend.
Who's not even her boyfriend.
Oh, crazy.
And Justin is heartbroken. And I babysat for this family that claimed they were like super good and close friends with Lance Bass. And his whole family, Lance Bass, he's one of the NSYNC, because Justin Timberlake was in NSYNC, the boy band. Okay. It's
called the boy band. Okay.
It's a boy band called NSYNC.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck me. No, how do you not know that?
I don't know nothing. This is not my culture. Like, look, at that time, and frankly, at that time I was like...
So, anyway, I used to babysit for this family that claimed to have, like, super close ties to Lance Bass.
Okay.
And they said that the entire she genuinely actually cheated with a backup dancer, and Justin Timberlake was heartbroken, and he was so sad about it, and blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And so then the VMAs happen, and it's a shit show, and you're watching Britney, like, get trashed in the media for cheating on Justin, and Justin's heartbroken, and blah, 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 blah. And this is like 2003, 2004. And then Britney gets together with Kevin Federline. And then suddenly she's pregnant and she has a baby. And then she has another baby. And then she and Kevin Federline are getting a divorce. And now custody battle. And then VMAs, she does the shit performance. Then she shaves her head and blah, blah, blah. And she's like gone crazy. So she went from being like pop princess, Justin Timberlake, perfect virgin girl, to getting married, having 2 kids, getting a divorce, blah, 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 spiraling out of control, and all of crazy, this. Yeah. So this is what the media is portraying to me, right? And then Justin Timberlake releases his music video, Cry Me a River, which casts a woman who looks like Britney Spears, basically just shoving her face in the fact, you cheated on me, now I'm going to absolutely trash your namesake, your any legacy you think you left behind. It was Britney Spears is on top, now it's look at you, you slut, you whore, you shame on you, you cheated on me. So, fast forward to 2023. Britney Spears no longer in a conservatorship, which we'll get into. And she releases her memoir. Justin cheated on her all the fucking time. He got her pregnant. He took her virginity. She couldn't feel it, so he has
that's bad. That's
so he has a very small penis. She outed him.
Okay, so
he got her pregnant.
Okay.
She didn't want to have an abortion. He essentially like kind of forced it on her. I'm not ready to be a father. Go get abortion. Put pressure on her. She still has regrets to this day about that abortion.
That's pretty crazy, though.
And then, knowing that you've done this, and then, you know, she is unfaithful to you, despite the fact that you've been constantly unfaithful to her, and you rub her face in it, then you go and shame her for being a slut?
That's pretty insane.
When you made her get an abortion?
That's pretty insane. No, that's pretty insane. And also, like, the view that the fact that did anybody ever knew about this situation
the
before?
Abortion? No.
Yeah.
It is.
That's
this
crazy.
is like brand new news.
That's actually quite crazy, because that would be such a big headlines in the day.
Back in the day? Fuck.
Yeah,
oh my god. That would be everywhere. That would be everywhere. But no, she kept the secret. He kept that secret.
Yeah, but the fact that they were able to, that's what's crazy.
He had the fucking balls to go and make that bullshit fucking music video about her when you forced this woman to have an abortion.
That's crazy.
You forced this woman.
Why didn't she?
Who had the public image of virgin girl.
Yeah.
And like pure, good Christian girl.
Yeah.
You got her pregnant. You made her have an abortion.
Yeah.
You made that. And then you make this fucking music video to trash her and slut shame her. And you want to run with this narrative that she cheated on you. When you cheated on her constantly and made this woman have it. Fuck you, Justin Timberlake. Fuck you, Justin Timberlake. That's all I gotta say.
That's crazy. That's insane. That's pretty insane. The fact that we can't just I don't know. It's she should have came out earlier and be like, you know what, actually, that like when the music video was released, she should have just came out and be like, that's the bill for the clinic. Like that's what she should have done.
That would work now. That would work in today. But during that society, no. During that mental like space of what the world was in, absolutely not. No. Do you remember like Justin Timberlake? He had the Super Bowl commercial, Super Bowl halftime with Janet Jackson.
I have to tell you that Super Bowl is really not anything but American. So
I know, but this was like world headlines. So he did a Super Bowl halftime show with Janet Jackson, where he grabbed her costume and ripped a part of it off, and she had like this glitter star over her nipple.
Okay.
But it was like you saw her whole boob. Yeah. But there was a big star on it. It was just
nipple star.
Basically. No nipple.
Yeah.
Just a giant
Looks
star.
Like star. Yes.
But you saw under boob. You saw outer boob. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That was fucking world headlines, and people slut shamed the shit out of Janet Jackson for that.
When was that?
They did not blame Justin Timberlake. Google it. I don't remember. But my God, the same way they trashed Britney Spears calling her fat for those VMAs, that year they talked about Janet Jackson as being this giant slut for exposing her boob at a halftime show, which it didn't even show nipple. Like, there was nothing to be seen. Like, you see more risque things.
Yeah. To be fair, 2004. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Nowadays
you see significantly more.
I'm saying
nowadays you have
yes, but I'm saying the mental the mental capacity of American society, I'll say, at that time would never like if Britney came out and was like, we had an abortion, it would do nothing against Justin. It would just be like poor him, she's dragging him into this.
Yeah.
How dare she murder a baby? And it would be all about her. Whereas he is the one that literally like pulled up and ripped her costume on purpose to expose it.
It was a part of the show.
He did that, and then she got slammed for having a boob.
That's crazy.
So
by having a boob.
For having a boob.
Fuck you for your biology.
Yeah, it literally was. I just mean the world would not have stood with Britney if she came out and told it then. We are now in a place where
Better place,
society...
For sure.
I'm saying karma has... So
in
in his song Cry Me a River, there's a line, what goes around comes around. And like every comment
really
everywhere is just Justin Timberlake is learning what goes around comes around. So
true.
He trashed her back in 2007, 2008 or whatever.
Now you look at
here we are. 15 years later.
Well, that's
shoes
it's
on
good.
the other foot.
Yeah, and I kind of mentioned it prior, but it's really a good situation to really now be able to see what's from her perspective it looked like, not from perspective of journalists trying to portray it like it's from her perspective,
exactly,
but actually what
genuine.
she went through, and like looking at it and be like, oh wow, that's interesting, and really reading it through.
This conservatorship though, so for those of you who don't know, which you don't know because nobody watches us, I want you to watch us.
For the 5 people who watch us.
I myself am a conservator. So my father has Alzheimer's. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's about 9 years ago. He's quite devolved into the disease now. But I myself have had to have conservatorship in order to manage his affairs and how he's taken care of and the finances and all of that. So I can kind of speak a little bit on the conservatorship with
from
Britney in terms of that. In terms of that, like, I know the insides and outs. I've had to go to court. I've had to do all the things. I could not fucking fathom being in her situation where her family is declaring her mentally incapable and forcing her to have a conservatorship. Whereas my father has Alzheimer's, diagnosed. I wish he never had it. I never want conservatorship again in my life. I fucking can't stand it. The amount of bureaucracy and bullshit you have to go through and the pressure that is on you in order to do a good job. I mean, great job in terms of that legal system sometimes, you know. But if I was declared incompetent, how do you prove that you're not crazy to a court system and get your own freedom back? That would be my worst fucking nightmare. And Britney had to live that for 15 years. 15 years? Can you think, how much have you changed in 15? What were you
crazy.
doing 15 years ago?
I was 8. Not true, I was 9. But yeah, like that's literally.
Like,
that's
can you
a lot.
imagine?
No, that's true.
And so.
But that's a whole
From,
like a third of her life. That's more than a third of her life. It's insane. She's 41 now, so like it's
genuinely. And not only like during that time are you forced into this conservatorship. You are no longer allowed to make decisions about your own money. She's come out in her memoir talking about she couldn't even make decisions about what she had for dinner. She had her cell phone taken away from her for rebelling because obviously you're put into this conservatorship that you don't think you need and you're gonna fucking fight against it going, I'm mentally competent. I don't fucking need you to make these decisions. And this person can literally come in and say, I have the authority to do whatever I want. And so she can't make this. She couldn't even, like, take a bath without somebody else in the room.
That's crazy.
What does that mentally do to you over 15 years?
That's what I'm thinking. I think after, like, a year of that, even if I would not be crazy, I'd probably come to be just absolutely fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I would just lose my shit.
100%.
Like, it just...
5,000, because then you mix in the fact she's a mother. She has kids. This has impacted her ability to spend time with her kids.
That's true.
To see them, to hug them, to love on them, to buy them gifts, to do whatever. Now, they are growing up in a household as 5-year-olds being told, I'm sorry, your mother's crazy. You can't listen to her. We're going to supervise everything. Regardless,
it's tough.
Of their mother being in the right state or not. You're going to grow up your whole life being told that she's mentally unstable. You're going to believe it as a kid because everyone else except for her is saying it.
And then you want to like see your children, raise your children, and then you're told that you can't.
Yeah. And then your kids even come to you and go, no, you can't tell me what to do. Yeah. Because everyone else is
crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty tough.
It would literally break me. It would break me.
Oh shit, yeah. For sure. And I think that's also, we should kind of look into it from this prism as well, that she not only didn't get the help she needed, it was more of the fact that she's got worse from that decision onwards.
I 100% agree.
Literally.
Because she even talks about in the memoir how her therapist put her on lithium.
Okay.
And lithium is meant to be a short-term solution, not a long-term solution. And long-term effects are quite dire. And she ended up having to be on lithium for a long term. And that's going to have effects on you. She took her father, conservator. Oh, God, I genuinely fucking hate it. He caught her taking energy supplements. There's essentially some caffeine pills, which is essentially the exact same thing as a pre-workout or a couple coffees in the morning.
A can of Monster.
Yeah, or a can of Monster.
Everybody has it
sorry, we don't have Monster in America. What is it?
I don't know. It's called Monster here.
Is it Monster?
It's called Monster in Europe,
okay.
I'll tell you.
I'm going to... Red Bull, whatever.
Yeah. Monster and
who cares?
Red Bull.
Yeah.
That's a competitor.
Same thing. Same thing. He caught her taking energy pills and forced her to go to rehab for energy supplements. She wasn't allowed to drink, and she had to go to rehab for energy supplements, Aleks.
That's great. No, that's crazy.
Energy. And she said during that month that she was in rehab, she wasn't allowed to see her kids. So she was constantly just like, you do just anything,
pushed around,
we're going to strap you to a gurney, we're going to send you to rehab, we're going to make you do this, we're going to make you do that. Meanwhile, she is of mental sound and mind and capabilities of performing a 4-year Vegas residency. She's capable of going to morning shows. She was made to do. Yeah. How can you learn choreography? How can you go out and perform? How can you do all of these things, but not be mentally sound? Does that make sense? And in charge of performing.
Let me push let me try to give you a scenario. For example, right now, I ask you to behave normal and not crazy. Do that. So now you're constantly pushed to think about how you're behaving. Does it look crazy, or does it constantly going for that? And
but not only that, you have for 15 years you've been told you can't make a decision. So when it comes to
13
years of
13
years of conservatorship. Sorry. Let's be
But
perfect.
yes,
But for 13 years, you're told you can't make a decision, you can't go out and drive your car, you can't go to travel, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't see your kids, you can't hug your kids, you can't decide what you want for dinner.
Yeah, but I will have your $6 million.
Yeah.
It's what the fuck?
But you're told you can't make all of these decisions, and then you're drugged up, saying here's some lithium, here's some whatever, and then the tabloids are just like calling you crazy. You can't see your kids. I would literally go insane.
Oh, for sure.
And I do just want to point out, and through no fault of her own, because this is a absolutely harrowing experience to go through. Her current TikTok social media is disturbing. Like, I genuinely think, like, it makes me wonder. A lot of her videos are weird.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's on purpose or...
Okay.
It seems off.
Okay. But in not trying to kind of diverse the situation, she's an artist, though, forever. And
True.
So she's really meant to look at things slightly different way. And again, we received that exactly the same conversation we have of Doja Cat like 2 months ago. That she was just odd and people were like, commenting on it, and she was like, I do whatever the hell I want to.
She lost so many fans because
she did. But at the same time, again, and it's
not because she was odd, but because she literally said her fans, "I don't love you. Why do you love me? You don't know me. Fuck off."
Again, like,
that's a weird thing to do.
It is, but at the same time, she's an adult human being, and she can say what she wants to, frankly.
100%. 100%.
That was just her opinion.
100%.
And that's okay. And so again,
yes.
like, coming to that situation,
you should never be put into a conservatorship.
Yeah, she's an artist. She looks at things different way because that's just what she does.
What I want to know, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, my alarm's gone
about
off. What I want to know, though, genuinely, is as a conservator and having like to go through so many things, how the fuck did her dad get a conservatorship? Like, that is corruption to the fucking max. Like, genuinely, like, in order for me to be granted conservator, I had a court hearing. I had to have multiple doctors, not just one, like, showing that my dad has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Full timeline. Full timeline. I wasn't able to get it straight away. Like, my God, like, I had to go through a lot of bureaucracy in order to be granted mine. And I don't fucking want it. I hate it. I hate having to deal with taxes and all of this other stuff. Like, it's not a responsibility I would choose to have. But I love him and I would go to the ends of the earth for him. I just mean, like, a conservatorship isn't something people should want. It is a lot of work.
And also they think that, I was just given that because I was the father and she was in trouble is really not the situation.
No.
He would have to put lots of work. Yeah.
There's some money going on and some like corruption going on behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure.
I have to think.
I mean, look, he's got over $6 million by the references over the time that he was a conservator for her. And it was from whatever 08 to 19,
and it's
so 11
not
years.
Anything to do with his own fucking job. He just sucked her dry.
6 million, yes.
Like,
sucked
her dry.
And it's a lot of money when you think about it. That's a shitloads of money.
What do you mean? That's a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, for 11 years, it's a shitloads of money.
Yes, it is.
So it definitely comes into the fact that it's like he put the work into making sure that it's there. I think, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's like, I think it's legit.
Yeah, no, he 100% did some shady ass shit and did the fucking work behind the scenes. Like, God, no. Anyway.
Too much bureaucracy.
Anyway.
Okay, well.
Read Britney's memoir. It is great. Go read about Justin Timberlake's small penis, how much the world sucks. We are on Britney's side, so it's a fabulous time. I highly recommend it. And for any of those that are new here, please like, comment, subscribe, carry on the conversation down below. And you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much wherever you want to consume media. We try to make the effort to put ourselves out there. Yeah. Become part of the Mirage Inquiry family. Like, subscribe, all the things.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram.
Instagram, Threads, whatever.
Everywhere.
And should we make any money off of this episode, which we won't, we eventually will donate 10% of any profits to Effective Altruism New Zealand, which is where we live, and try to make the world a slightly better place. Yeah.
Oh, cute! Okay, alrighty. We're wrapped up. Bye-bye.